Alright, Mekone turned 75. We're continuing to fling some commanders around with Cloud Trapeze. Also, putting up some astral windows, some scrying, doing some corpseman construction, sending out our ghouls. We tried to mind hunt, did not work. And speaking of fleeing guys with Cloud Trapeze, here is one of our Cyclopses who is landing on, quite a bit of stuff from Calum. So I think this is just one Eagle King in here somewhere among a decent amount of Sacreds and quite a few Spirehorn Warriors. Looks like we already took some damage. What are we casting? So yeah, Iron Skin, Temper Flesh. Try to survive birds. Luckily, it looks like they're on hold and attack, so we're able to get in a decent amount of script. Summon Earth Power for that fatigue. Here come the birds. And we take some damage, like again with the crown and even the elemental armor. Like it's good body armor, but not fantastic body armor. So even with Iron Skin and all that, we are taking some damage. But with the amount of not resurrection, regeneration that we have, it's not too much of a worry. If all of his sacreds were to surround, that would be more dangerous. Let's see what his, this is like the summon that he gets. Okay, only Astral 1. That's the main hole, right, in our defenses is, our, magic resistance, and our morale actually is really low. I always forget how low these guys have for morale. Probably should have given him a Firebrand, which would help with the morale a little bit. We have been using the Dragon Helms, which also give morale, but obviously we need the crown in that slot. And then, I think he's actually just set to cast spells. Because, he kills, he's an effective spellcaster, and he actually usually kills more units by casting spells. His reinvigoration is pretty good. Yeah, he's fatigue neutral, although with the casting of the spells, he will put himself to sleep, which is not ideal. So maybe should have just left him on attack. He's not a combat caster, so, he does spend a lot of time attacking. Not actually sure where the Eagle King went to. Normally he's been having him hang back, but I don't actually see an Eagle King back here. Let's see. Oh, Breath of Winter. Okay, so it looks like, he must have gone in with his units. So he's in there somewhere. That is possibly why I have the, we have enough cold resistance from the elemental armor that we don't really need additional cold resistance from the Frost brand. And we're not super killy. Also, you can see occasionally we're getting awed. These Sacreds here have decent awe, actually. So we're not always getting our attack in, but you can see like the spell casting definitely kills like a lot more quickly, which is nice because, like I was saying, he's not particularly killy otherwise. So we get the route. I don't think we get the Eagle King. Yeah, we do not. But still, 33 Spirehorn Warriors, like this actually is starting to matter a little bit. It's not like a crushing defeat, and he loses almost half of the Sacreds. These guys are gems to bring in. Not sure how expensive they are, but definitely not cheap. 5 of them is not too bad, but that was kind of the main force that he had mobile that I was worried about, knocking out some of our smaller raiding groups. I think this was a good win, but by no means crushing. And then we sent an Archon out, just Cloud Trapezing in. I think this is Air Elementals. Works out just fine against relatively minimal PD, and otherwise it's pretty much March of the Ghouls this turn. So Calum sends some ghouls out. We actually get lucky here and snipe the commander with just 6 PD. Wolf Tribe PD, but still I think we probably would have lost this otherwise. And then our ghouls do well against roughly 6 PD for just Deer Tribe, where we do not lose the commander. And then here we have 10 PD of Wolf Tribe, and this just straight up turns around the ghouls. It was close, so, I feel like with this spell it could kind of go either way with 10 PD. Wolf Tribe is a little better on average. but this one works out for us, and then we lose a province to even more Ghouls. So there's a lot of death gems, and mostly didn't work out for Calum. So yeah, I'm actually totally fine with this result. Our 6 Furbolg, you can see. Against 6 PD, Furbolg are not the worst PD type, definitely. But they do really well against that. So yeah, overall, pretty good in terms of the magic phase. We did not find any magic sites, unfortunately, but it happens. And then for the normal phase battles, we have one of our Elder Cyclopses and Shamans just move in against minimal PD. They take that no problem. We turn around, kind of a rando force, just a few Spirehorn Warriors and a Ghoul. I like that, but they run into one of our raiding forces, the Hidden Gigantes, I think. And then Russ loses a province to decent force, kind of. Some casters, like small raiding force. And then one of our Archons, you can take a quick look at this. Because, I think he just has a ton of... Oh, no, does he just use air elementals? Yeah, he just uses air elementals. I was thinking, I'd set him up. He does have a lot of shock resistance. Yeah, 40. Okay, so he does. I think he does eventually go in, but yeah, air elementals are just really good. You'd think that, maybe storm demons, wouldn't do... air elementals wouldn't do so well against storm demons, because storm demons have plenty of shock resistance as well, but of course they can be trampled, like anything that's not size 6, so yeah, air elementals are really good. And then our Spectre raids on, and then we also capture the fortress with, no trouble really, no resistance, nothing got magic phased in, so yeah. And then of course we have the unexpected events. Are they unexpected though? People running away, could be demons, probably not. Village Well, classic. Most laws have been abolished, I like that. Locals are conducting demon worship, probably has something to do with all these laws being abolished. More demon worship, and then we found a wealth of magic gems, which, that's a decent amount of magic gems, but not fantastic. Some more magic gems, that is nice. And now this is what I'm talking about. A treasure has been found, and this is a serious treasure. Almost 2,000 gold right there, and a lot of gems. So actually overall, a really good turn in terms of luck. And then, of course, all the rest of it, our Bane Venom charms, I think we're up to 3 of them now, and then, patrolling and all that good stuff. So yeah, let's see what we're up to. So yeah, this is the situation and what we have planned. You can see we're starting to build up a good, healthy set of arrows now, moving towards Calum's lands. The Peltast wave is, still pretty far back. I think, we have our first group here for that, and then our other group is just here. So pretty far back. We do have a few other groups that weren't, part of the continuous chain that are moving forward, and we have, sort of a third army here that, we've mustered, and we're moving up this direction, and it's going to try to help take this palisade eventually, or, just reinforce this area. We're going for this palisade this turn. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. This is not exactly an army, but our Cyclopses have been doing pretty well. This is definitely a guy with, kind of older kit. Maybe not quite as good kit, but there isn't a ton here, right? So there is an Eagle King, and then just mostly Spirehorn Warriors. So hoping that, this will be enough to jump on top. He may also pull this out, because our main army is in motion. So the Archon that Cloud trapezed in and did the air elementals was in this province, just ahead of our army. So we are trying to do some screening. We're going to pull back this Cyclops to try to join with our main army. We'll probably eventually use him for assault duties, or we may pull him back, and help capture this palisade. And hopefully there's a lab there which he could use to, Cloud trapeze further afield. And then we are getting our other army in motion. So they're moving out to this province here and linking up, I think, with a few things coming from Hinnom, probably just some Peltasts and a few extra casters. And then, we're going to leave, I think, a few guys here. We're going to bring back our Phoenix Pyre Thug to just sort of patrol. just in case, he tries to jump on top of it and recapture it. We are also going to be cloud trapezing in another Cyclops on top of this palisade, in anticipation of these forces moving on top of it. And then in terms of deep raiding, we're going to move with our Spectre and have him join this Ghoul force that took this province this turn and, try to jump on this fortress again. It did not work out last time, but it does actually look like it's completely empty now and there isn't too much PD. So hopefully with the Ghouls and the Spectre, that'll be enough to lock down this fortress, and then that'll really significantly limit, where he can recruit from. Well, start to limit at least. And then we actually moved our scout back on top of Russ, where we knew that he had a large force and still just hanging out here. It doesn't really look like much, if anything, has moved out, right? We can still see that, his god is here. All the birds seem to be here. All the corpse constructs are here. So, yeah, I don't know. I couldn't really figure this one out. I figured like maybe he would be going for, Russ's other infrastructure, right? I mean, he has some of it locked down, some of it's loose. We did see him lose an assault, on one of Russ's forts. So, maybe, yeah, I mean, obviously that set him back. But yeah, I'm not really sure like why, I was expecting this to come down and defend against me. So again, like maybe is planning on just gatewaying it. So, he doesn't need to move it out, but I guess like why not use it to capture some of Russ's infrastructure? I guess maybe he doesn't have enough confidence in it because he could get caught in a situation where he's sitting on top of one of Russ's forts and isn't able to capture it, and then doesn't have access to a lab to actually gateway down. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I didn't really understand why this was hanging out. So that's kind of why I moved my scout back on to just make sure that I hadn't missed its movement in some way. But yeah, it's still up there. And that covers our movements for this turn. In terms of recruitments, it's mostly the same. So, getting more Peltasts, switching back over to Cyclopses, continuing Archons in most places. Yeah, Archons. And then probably, Researchers down here in Hinnom. Because, we're just not... The Archons that get 2 air can kind of cloud trapeze forward pretty quickly, and we probably do have some boots. Yeah, we have some flying boots, and we could probably find some boots of the messenger somewhere as well. So it's not too bad, especially giants move pretty fast in terms of like moving these guys up to the front. But I mean, Hinnom is pretty far away. So, and like I said, our research is not, still pretty rough, just in terms of like overall achievement and rate of research. So, hiring some cheaper mages that, we can just give research boosters to and have hang out at home and research is probably not the worst thing right now. And then I forgot to mention, we are trying to recapture this, so just sort of a nut squad, a lot of Peltasts, our foul spawn and stuff. I think this is just enough numbers to overwhelm Ghouls. They're not great. And then we also PD dumped a little bit in this province. We're up to 15, and it's Bone Tribe, so pretty high confidence that, if he tries to move into this province, he'll be stopped. And then we actually just have, we have 15 PD here as well, but we also just left as just sort of anti-rating measures. We have an E4 here who's, with some gems and casting So Dragon Teeth. And the nice thing is, thanks to luck, we have a lab here, so we're not really losing any research. And so, anyway, if the Ghouls try to move here, they will definitely die. So should be able to recapture this and, prevent the Ghouls from getting loose and causing problems. I think that covers turn 75. All right, Mekone, turn 76. The war continues. So we're doing more of the same casting. There's nothing really too new here. We did finish research and enchantment, so we picked up level 7. I don't think there's too much that we desperately need at 7. I think level 8 is what we're more interested in. Mass regeneration would be really nice for us. And then also you get the elemental resistance army-wide spells at level 8, which could become quite relevant. So far haven't needed them, may not need them for this war, but definitely as the game goes later we will need those. In terms of our magic phase battles, we had an Eagle King come out and wipe out minimal PD, and then we had an Elder Cyclops launch out, and this was on top of that palisade, so he wasn't patrolling, relatively minimal PD, he has no problem with that. And then we had a more interesting one in Snowford. So this is our force that we were planning on jumping on top of that palisade with, along with a moderate PD dump of barbarians. Not too much in the way of caster support against an Eagle King that's been pretty kitted out, relatively normal kit, I would say. Yeah, nothing too unusual here. And then a decent amount of gems as well. So yeah, this was his magic phase, so he definitely chose this. I'm assuming he does know about the Gigantes at this point, because you know he's seen it before. Although it is easy to forget about that stuff. So yeah, he cast Living Clouds. Not a bad choice normally, you know, because especially with just one caster, like one air elemental. Air elementals are really dangerous, but against the kind of numbers it would have to go up against, it would probably go down. But you can see the size 4 ones obliterate, you know, the human PD no problem. Unfortunately, like, you know, our Gigantes are size 4, so, you know, the air elementals can't trample them. Now, you know, these aren't... Shock damage is a big problem. These aren't our thugs, right? These aren't Polomarks, but, you know, we have enough Gigantes and they have enough health, right, that they're able to cut through them without too much difficulty. And we do actually have a Polomark here. He's probably set, yeah, to advance and cast spells. What have you been casting? Yeah, Blade Wind. They like that Blade Wind against air elementals. I'm not so sure. At point blank, it can be not bad. I think it's just because the air elementals have really low protection. I mean, they have no protection normally. So yeah, the Eagle King now is, you know, fighting against our Gigantes. He has really good protection, right? And he cast a Shockwave. That's really nasty. But, I mean, you know, it's just really hard to protection thug against giants. You know, especially it's like 29 magic pierce damage. That's, yeah, it's going to mess up a lot of stuff, and yeah, it messes up an Eagle King as well. So yeah, that works out for us. That is a lot of gear and an Eagle King down the drain. And then I forgot to mention last turn, we did send, this is another Cyclops, so we sent him out on top of that fort that's just to the south of, you know, Kalem's capital, and it looks like no patrolling. You know, we've been on top of this fort before, so he chose not to put any PD in it, so no resistance there. And then sadly we lose our Spectre to an area Seraph. This is no doubt an air elemental. Yeah, I was sad about this. We'd pretty much snuck, like the other 2 times that he has taken provinces, you know, we snuck away. This is actually the first time. And yeah, there's the air elemental. Oh, it might be actually the lightning damage that gets him. Yeah, what was that? Charge body probably. And then the air elemental goes back too. Poor little bugger. But yeah, the other times we'd snuck away, so I just felt like, okay, well, you know, now, like, he's probably not going to send anything out to kill him because he knows that I'm just going to sneak away, and I got greedy and just tried to attack immediately, and he got jumped on, so that was nicely done by Kalem. Definitely a lesson. If you have stealthy raiders, you probably sneak them. And then, of course, our site searching didn't work out, and then we have normal phase battles. So here we have just some area Seraphs leading a couple Ghouls. They take out minimal PD, no problem. We just bounced a scout. This is probably just the default, you know, capital Kalian PD, maybe a little bit more. I'm not actually super familiar. So no patrolling though. So yeah, I was kind of just bouncing this scout off to get a sense, like, you know, is he patrolling to support it? You know, how much PD exactly? And, you know, to be a little annoying as well. I don't know. Every time I open up and it's like, oh, shoot, like battle report on your capital. You know, so yeah. The scout actually survives, and yeah, we're going to be sending him back in and, you know, just kind of keep bouncing, you know, to see, it's like, does he ever patrol? Does he never patrol? So yeah, we'll see. And then our Ghouls moved forward, even without the help of our Spectre, which we were planning on joining up. They're able to take out, you know, minimal PD. It looks like that area Seraph probably actually no, the fort was already empty, so who knows? But the area Seraph that helped defend it is now gone. And then this is the Throne Province. So Kayla moved out with, you know, a decent force and recaptured it. We didn't really leave anything to defend it. And then we had kind of an interesting battle for this next one. So this is a province that is next to the palisade that we're going to be trying to capture. And I believe this is probably most, if not all, of the force that was in there. So we have a fully kitted Eagle King here. With quite a few gems, and I think he's the only commander. Yeah, a few of the Sacreds, it looks like, and then, you know, Spirehorn Warriors. And yeah, they bump into, you know, just one of our Cyclopses. I think this was one of the guys that was kind of just, you know, behind the lines. He doesn't even quite have full kitting. I don't think there's any, there's no Lizard Shaman here to help him. So, you know, air elementals are going to be a bit of a problem for him, right? Because he's only size 5. But otherwise, like, you know, decent kit, good elemental resistances. He does have the Berserker Axe, I think. Yeah, so he's not going to be super killy, but he's going to be pretty annoying to get rid of. And then, yeah, a decent amount of PD is probably like 6 PD. There's also a couple Peltasts here because there's Peltasts scattered all over the place. So yeah, the birds come in, you know, at the Lance Strike. They're going to do pretty well. RPD is not going to do fantastic. This guy is, that's interesting. Okay, Phantasmal Army followed by, like, yeah, Living Earth, so the size 4 Earth Elementals. Yeah, you know, I mean, it's a good amount of chaff, definitely. Like, not super, the Earth Elementals are decently killy against, like, size 2 units, but obviously, like, yeah, our size 5 fellow is not going to care about any of that. And yeah, now he goes berserk because somebody managed to damage him. But, you know, he does have a ring of regeneration. That's pretty standard, at least in this game, for the Elder Cyclopses for me. So not too worried here, right? Yeah, another Phantasmal Army. That one was probably off script. This is an advance in cast spells, so that's cool. I haven't actually seen that, I don't know about ever, but not very often from Calum. And now he's thrown out, they like this confusion, probably because the magic resistance on this guy is relatively low. Has he been confused? No, I'm not sure if you can confuse berserkers. Probably. It just causes them. Yeah, there you go. He got confused. So what are they? 30% chance of doing nothing and 20% chance of striking at anyone, including friends. Of course, this Cyclops is friendless, at least on this battlefield, so that's not too much of an issue. It's not great that he does nothing, but he's, like I said, he's not super killy anyway, so it's not the end of the world, right? He's just kind of killing, you know, one guy at a time. Probably some Fire Shield here would be worthwhile, you know, for him to cast Fire Shield on himself. That sounded okay. I was like, that sounded like an air elemental, but it's just Steel Breath, which is a fatigue spell, which can be kind of nasty, especially too because he's a berserker and he'd take a chest wound. Yeah, I was gonna say he probably wasn't fatigue neutral even before the chest wound, but now he's definitely not fatigue neutral, which is a bit of a problem being a berserker, because if he falls asleep, he is no longer berserk. Now he can, you know, go berserk again. But yeah, and you know, you take criticals when you're asleep, but like Earth Elementals, if they can't trample you, they're just not very dangerous, and the Spire Horns are not very dangerous. Thunderstrike is not great for us, but yeah, we're fairly prepared, right, between the Elemental Armor and the Storm Spool. Yeah, his morale is broken here, though. But of course, it's going to be difficult for us to get out, and yeah, we just re-berserked. So, like, it is actually pretty hard, like, if you have one of these Berserker Axes, yeah, but then he fell asleep, probably, I'm guessing, maybe not, Fatigue 91, because now it looks like he unberserked. So, yeah, but I think, so we routed at least the birds. It looks like, yeah, this Eagle King, of course, now is, like, just keeping us on the field, like, yeah, we're never gonna, this might actually turn timer. Oops. Let's do, this could be a little while. We're never going to wake up at this rate. 181 fatigue. I would say we'd get to the point where it's like we could start taking, fatigue, like damage from excessive fatigue. But again, with the amount of regeneration that we have, I just don't think that's ever really going to be an issue. We will stack a decent amount of afflictions potentially. So like this isn't what I would call ideal, but at the same time, we're actually in surprisingly little danger right now. The main way that like the Eagle King is going to kill you without air elementals, like normally Thunderstrike, very dangerous, but again, with the amount of shock resistance that we have, combined with the regeneration and the large, hit point pool, we're pretty much immune to Thunderstrike, which is not something you can say every day. So we're gonna slowly, and then you can see, yeah, he woke up and he took damage, so he re-berserked. Now he wants to fight again, but he'll fall asleep soon, no doubt, with his chest wound and his 12 encumbrance. Yeah, so he just fell asleep again, so now he's not berserk anymore. If he wakes up, he's going to try to run away. It's just, yeah. The madness of late games Dominions. I think we're going to come away with this. Yeah, there you go. So we failed a morale. No, we did hit turn timer, because I think at round 90, the attacker retreats. So yeah, kind of an odd one, not a fantastic win, but we knock out some spire horns, we hold on to the province, and then the nice thing too is that these forces aren't in that palisade anymore, so it's going to make our life much easier. Eagle King probably survived the retreat, but not necessarily, because he is starting to run out of places that he could retreat to, because we are on top of the palisade that he came from. And then for the next battle, we get to see our army go through its paces as it runs into an Eagle King that came to recapture a province. So this is what we're looking at. This is probably going to trigger gem usage, I'm guessing. Yeah, there it goes. So we got a mass protection off. Not a whole lot of fire damage that Calum can put out. So yeah, this is a dangerous enough mage and enough kitting that it's going to trigger gem usage, which makes sense. It's fair. How could you know if this is a super combatant that's dangerous enough or not? So yeah, we get what is that? Will of the Fates. But you can see these long dead horsemen, super dangerous. Especially the long line of them. I do think we lose one or two of them here, but totally worth it. And just sort of highlights, it just, something like this makes, not that this was a Wrathful Skies trap or anything like that, but it just makes a trap like that with a limited number of casters pretty much impossible, very difficult. If you send some casters that are going to generate some chaff, which, that Eagle King actually did do with Phantasmal Army, if you had maybe a few more of them to, give Wrathful Skies or something, whatever trap you're using, a little more time, then maybe you could pull it off. But anyway, just a demonstration that, this is an important component in the army that we were missing before. And we get some free gear, always like that. And then, yeah, we lose a province to an area Seraph and some Spire Horns, probably some air elementals. Maybe not those. Probably enough birds. Not a lot of PD. But, that's fine. It's going to happen. And then here's our Nut Squad. And, he didn't leave any PD, so we take that back. This was the province that we lost to those Ghouls. And speaking of those Ghouls, they run into some Bone Tribe, that I discussed. And, yeah, they don't do so great against Bone Tribe. So that covers the regular phase battles, and we're on to the unexpected events. No functioning courts. That's probably due to all the laws that we got rid of, and maybe the demons. Yeah, people haven't been paid. Not that surprising. We lose some PD. People always disappearing. Yeah, it's probably not demons. I mean, there's a bunch of demon worship going on, but probably not demons. Don't mind. I think all the water's red. All the cows have 3 heads, and all the water is red. It's totally fine. But yeah, we had a festival. That's nice. Found some earth gems. This is a good amount of earth gems. That's pretty nice. Some gold. We prefer to see 2,000 gold, not 200, but we'll take 200 as well. And then, yeah, this is actually a pretty nice one. I mean, we get some unrest. Don't care at all about that, especially because this is Mekone, so we're going to patrol that away immediately. But plus 20 province income, very nice. And then, just all the normal joy that we have going on in our lands. So yeah, let's see what we're up to. All right, so this is the situation and what we have planned. Probably the biggest items are our, smaller army is jumping on top of this fort. We're actually moving the Cyclops off, probably to reset him for some more cloud trapezing. Possibly thinking about cloud trapezing on top of Calum in advance of our main army, which is going to be moving into this throne province, right? This is where he raided out with a pretty large force led by some Eagle Kings. I think we would definitely beat this. He probably won't stick around and defend here. I mean, if he does, that would be great. But yeah, so we'll push our army into here. And the nice thing, other than the fact that we'll be sitting on the throne, so that's always nice. I don't think we actually, yeah, okay, we do. We have our prophet here, so we can claim if we want, although I don't know if we'll be able to hold it. But the other nice thing about this province is that we can move either on top of Calum or we can jump on top of this other fort. So yeah, I'm not really sure yet. Really kind of depends. There's a good amount of stuff inside this fort. So we may split off, maybe like some of we have a few Polemarch groups here. Like, yeah, this is a Polemarch group, and we have a Cyclops. So, we may split off some of that and possibly some of the caster support to help like with an assault and not immediately jump on top of Calum. Or we may like leave like Polemarch support from this army and move that forward, right? And then sit our main army on top of this fort, while we have our siege forces actually make the assault. So yeah, not really sure yet. Kind of depends on, what Calum does. We have some counter raids coming out. Yeah, there's just a Peltast group. We do have, here's another Peltast group, making another raid. These guys are, not part of the wave. The wave is still pretty far back. I think, yeah, they're in their forts. So, the first group, the first contiguous group for each of these chains is going to be moving out of their fort. And, we still, right, we're recruiting commanders. You're going to see these lines start to extend, but they're not very fast in Peltasts. So they may actually, it depends on how things go. If things go well for us, then the Peltast wave may not actually be of any use for us in this conflict. But, if we stall out or get pushed back a little bit, I do think that there is, value in this. But yeah, maybe started the wave a little too far back. But it is moving forward. And then we have, kind of our third army that, it's not quite there yet, but it's moving forward to join in this siege. We haven't quite cracked this fortification yet, this palisade. I forget. Let's take a look. How close are we? I think we're actually decently close. Yeah, severely damaged. Palisades aren't too hard to knock down, and I don't think there's anything in there. This is the Eagle King that, we were hoping died in the retreat, but it looks like he did not. But we're going to go ahead and send our, Cyclops forward. Considering that we turn-timered, and that's how we won that battle, it's a little dangerous, because now we'll be on the attack. But, I figure we have a decent shot at winning, because if we trigger a rout on Calum's side before the turn timer, then we'll win. Basically, I don't think we'll be in any danger of dying in the combat, but we might be forced to retreat, and then we could die in the retreat. So there's definitely some danger, but, it's like if we can keep this Eagle King, on the run, this is really kind of the only force that, Calum has to prevent us from taking this palisade. Not that I think that's enough, to stop this force, but, want to continue moving forward. In that vein, we're just going to drop off a ghoul to maintain the siege here, and then, we're going to take this ghoul group and, just raid like a kind of random province, which actually will get connected, assuming that our Peltast raid is successful here. And then we're going to get vengeance for our Spectre. So I moved an assassin into this province, figuring that, Calum would retake it. Wasn't expecting a magic phase attack, so sadly we did lose that Spectre, but hopefully, this guy has assassinated Seraph before, so I have high hopes that he'll be able to assassinate this Seraph as well. And finally, Calum's main army looks like, yeah, they still have not moved out. Some fluctuation, but, there's probably maybe a little recruitment, but I think mostly just it's, the scout report fluctuating. We still see that the god is there, so yeah, still hanging out, not really sure. I mean, if he chooses to stay up in Russ's territory, that is perfectly fine with me. Otherwise, not too much recruitment this turn. I think mostly just, Peltasts. We are getting a few Gigantes over here. Yeah, because we are expecting some losses, definitely. But yeah, otherwise, normal stuff in terms of mage recruitment. So yeah, I think that covers turn 76.